Hey, welcome guys. Yeah, so I just feel life is difficult. Yeah, but don't worry. We still keep doing this YouTube channel. Okay, so today let's talk about integration and the differentiation. Yeah, so this is my the first video about the the analysis video. So basically about the routing and apostle. And yeah, so today we will prove the fundamental theorem of calculus and also some consequence. Yeah, so hope you guys subscribe to my channel. So theorem. So suppose f is a Riemann integrable on AB, then yeah. So for this, one can define f of x, right? Because we know that this guy's Riemann integrable, so I can define f of x to be a from x integral, f of t dt. Okay. Okay. So theorem says that f is continuous. Okay, so this means that the Riemann, so the function is Riemann integrable do not means that it's continuous, right? But the theorem says that its integral must be continuous. And furthermore, if f is continuous, let's say f is continuous at some point, let's say x zeros belongs to AB, then this is fundamental theorem of calculus, meaning that f prime of x zeros is just f x zero. Okay. Proof. Yeah, so let's prove it's continuous. So this is simple. Okay. So continuous means that when x approach to y, then f of x will approach f of y, right? So then let's just compute f of y minus f of x. So become yx, ya, right? F of t dt minus xa f of t dt. This guy is just yx f of t dt, and try to bound this guy. And then we know that f is integrable, right? So f is bounded. So this guy is bounded by my minus x. Suppose m is a super f. Okay, so y approach to x, f of y will approach to f of x, since that this guy will approach to zeros as y goes to x. Okay. Now let's so we just prove this, right? So now we go to this part. Yeah. So now suppose f is continuous at x equals to x zero. That means for epsilon greater than zero, there's a delta greater than zero, such that when x minus, let's say t minus x zero less than delta, we will have f of x minus f of x zero, f of t minus f of x zero less than epsilon. Okay, this definition, right? So now let's consider the following. Let's say f of t minus f of s, t minus s minus f of x zero. Okay, so this guy or just what? So this guy's t s, right? F of, let's say using u du t minus s, right? Minus this, right? So I can write this guy as this ts, right? This is a trick. Okay, so this guy just t minus s. Let's say take yeah, absolute value is not important because I assume t greater or equal to s. So this is ts f of u minus f of x zeros. Okay, du. Okay, so it's continuous, right? So since this is continuous, so I can let's see, right? So I can right, by this definition I can choose. So I can choose, let's say choose st, which satisfy this property, right? So let's choose st to be in this region, x minus delta, x zero minus delta, x zero plus delta. So it satisfies this property, right? This property. So this guy is less than epsilon, right? So this guy is less than epsilon t minus s, right? Divided t minus s, right? Because this is bounded by epsilon t minus s. Okay, so less or equal to less or equal to epsilon, right? So that means epsilon, whenever epsilon is small, that the epsilon can be arbitrarily small, right? So which proves that when your let's say t approach s, then this guy become f of x0, right? So which so it means that when t and s approach, the difference between t and s between arbitrarily small, then you will prove that this guy become f of x0. Okay. Yeah, so basically you just show that it's f prime of x0, you just f x0. Okay. Okay, so the theorem, which the fundamental theorem of calculus, say that if f is RAB, and suppose there is a differentiable function, suppose there is f such that which f is differentiable such that f prime is f on AB, then what? Then is your and this integral, right, can be just calculated from f of b minus f of a. Okay, so this is the starting point of your calculus 1, right? So you believe this is true. So now let's give the proof. Okay. Yeah, I think let's see. There are many ways. I guess there are at least two ways to prove it, right? One is use a previous theorem, and but now let's using a definition, right? So let's say epsilon greater than 0. I can choose a partition. Okay, and of AB, and we know that this f is integrable, right? So there exists. So this partition will make the upper sum minus the lower sum. That's the epsilon. Okay. So this what this means is that if you write down everything, let's see, right? So this is the definition. Okay. So now let's using the mean value theorem of this large f, right? So let's say we have fxi as working in a partition. So f is a differentiable, right, by definition, right? So this is the ti belongs to xi minus 1 xi such that f of ti delta xi, right? So we can take the summation. This is just f of b minus f of a, right? Right. So this is just take this and the right hand side become this. Okay. Okay, and then we proved the previous theorem that there's a previous theorem. I think it's the previous two videos, that least will implies least will implies f of b. Let me see. So these will implies that the summation of basically your So in the previous theorem, I think I proved one. Let me just write down. So I think I proved one sentence. Right, I put this sentence will implies that the summation of fti delta xi, right, for any ti belongs to the partition minus the integral will less than epsilon. Okay, so this is what I just previous proof. So now we can use this, right? So now this guy become a f of b minus f of a, right? So but basically it's just showing that a b f of x dx is just f of b minus f of a, since that epsilon can be arbitrarily small. Okay. Yeah, so proof is complete. Okay, the final theorem is basically integration by part. And I think I don't have to prove it, just using the previous theorem, you can easily prove that the udv is uv minus vdu. Okay, this is I don't need to give a proof, right? It's basically using the fundamental theorem of calculus. Okay, so yeah, we mainly finished. So let's talk about, let me just finally talk about the small results called the integration on vector value functions. So basically you can assume your f to be a b mapped rk. right? And if so that your f can be written as each component f1, f2 up to f, let's say fk, right? And if you want to define the integral of f values on a b, then your results will just be each component. So obviously that you need to assume that each component is integral, right? So actually it is just definition, nothing new. And also obviously that things is component wise, right? So you can easily prove that this theorem will be f of b minus f of a, right? So if you can find a large f, which is antiderivative of small f, then you can do this. Okay, so this is also simple. Okay, so there's only one theorem I hope to prove here. It's basically the try to bound the list, right? So my results will be this. Suppose your f, which is a RS integral respect to some alpha on AB, then this guy is bounded by this. Okay, so this is very, very frequently used in analysis. Okay. Okay, by the way, you first need to prove that the absolute value is a integrable, right? But previously, I think previous video I already proved this. Okay, so we just focus on how to bound this. You know, by the way, this f absolute value will be just the sum over the component. Okay, so yeah, let me just say a word. So basically, the theorem, there's a theorem says that the continuous function apply on the integrable function will still be integrable, right? So yeah, hope you can see this is in continuous. Okay, so let's prove this. So let's define yj to be fj d alpha, and let's see. So yeah, so the y vector will be f d alpha. Okay, so let's consider the absolute value of y squared will be sum over all the component of y, and basically this is yj fj d alpha, and so I can write this sum over yj fj d alpha. Okay. Now we have a Cauchy-Schwarz inequality, right? So the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality for this function, this yj fj will less or equal to the norm of the y and the norm of f of t. Okay, right? Because these guys are inner products of y and fj. Okay, so that means your y squared is less or equal to y, right? Because now this guy becomes constant when I do integral, and the integral of f of t d alpha. Yeah, okay. So which you can cancel y, you get y less or equal to ab f of t d alpha. Oh, I just meant yeah, right. So this f will be ab f d alpha less or equal to ab absolute value inside d alpha. Okay, so that's it. Next time we talk about rectifiable curve, and then we finish the integral. So we will go to the uniform convergence, and yeah, prove, and so finish the analysis. Hopefully in 20 videos. Okay, so see you guys next videos.